FFA Convention video spotlights on KRVN are sponsored by Landmark Implement, Pony Express Chevrolet Buick of Gothenburg, and Pony Express Ford of Minden. Here on day number 2 of the Nebraska FFA State Convention, we're joined by a pair of the Nebraska FFA State Officers, Keetyn Valentine, as well as Braydon joining us. Keetyn, for you, the two of you represent about as far apart in the state of Nebraska as possible, where you both grew up and served in your local chapters. Talk about the connections with your fellow state officers over the past year.
Yeah, so all of us are obviously kind of spread out, but also at the same time, it's very unique in the situation that we can be involved in the local chapters in our areas. So whether that's Braydon being all the way out in the western panhandle or that's me being on the eastern side, we're able to stay involved in those ways.
Do you find more similarities or differences?
Definitely a lot more differences. I feel like those are a lot easier to point out just with what agriculture looks like from one side of the state to the other side of the state is quite different, but also at the same time it brings up some pretty unique conversations as well.
Braydon, I want to bring you into this conversation kind of on the note of those business and industry visits. Sounds like a unique opportunity to perhaps see some areas of the ag industry you might not have known about in the past. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of back to your first question about just Keetyn and I coming from like two opposite ends of the state pretty much. Being out in the panhandle in western Nebraska, it's kind of a different form of the ag industry than from like the eastern half. That's been one of the jokes with members is like, I feel like you can split the state of Nebraska into two different states. So just being able to see how like the wide variety of agriculture across the state has been really cool for me. Like from the west, we have a lot of cattle and wheat production. Then coming down east, it's just nothing but corn and soybeans, I feel like. So it's cool to kind of see that variety, especially with business visits and those different sponsors and industries that we've gotten to see this year.
Gonna have to be careful because then we'll have a discussion about where you're going to put the line. Would it be
Yeah.
the central versus mountain time zone line? Is that where you split the state? We won't get into that.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on the impact that you and your teammates have had on the Nebraska FFA Association over the past year.
Yeah, this year has been really inspiring, not only for me, but for us as a team. And it's just been so influential for us as well as members to just make those connections, interact with students. Chapter visits was a really impactful time for us, I feel like, because we got to go to chapters. Throughout the year, all the interactions we have, FFA members usually come to us, but now we got to go to their own chapters. So they were a lot more comfortable, and it's just fun to kind of see what they do in their own communities and stuff like that. And just, yeah, being able to make those connections and support them in their passions has been a really cool experience.